Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to deal with fire eater's mouth. I realized throughout all my tutorials on fire eating, I've never actually explained this concept or how to deal with it at all. So what I mean by fire eater's mouth is after you've been performing for a while or practicing for a while, putting the fire in your mouth over and over again, if you're drilling a certain move or whatever, your mouth is eventually going to burn. And it's just kind of going to get worse as you add more heat to it. So it's just kind of a cumulative burn over time is pretty much what it is. And so you'll notice it a lot after you've been doing a lot of tongue passes or something the next day, or maybe a couple hours later, your tongue will be really sore or almost feel numb. Or if you're doing dragon's breath or a lot of flame extinguishing, the insides of your cheeks or the inside of your lip, especially on your bottom lip, will get really burned. It'll kind of start to peel almost, and no, it's not very attractive in the least, but it's the reality. It's the non-glamorous side of fire eating, but it does in fact happen. So I'm going to talk with you a little bit about how to deal with it. What brought this to my attention was I actually did a 45-minute fire eating show at Night Fright here in Oregon, and do not do a 45-minute fire eating show without any sort of breaks. It is not good, and you will be in lots and lots and lots of pain. But yeah, so some things that I didn't do and that I should have to keep the inside of my mouth from looking like hamburger meat the next morning is a lot of things you can do are basically just pacing yourself and not doing too much all at once. I used to really look down on fire eaters who would, light their torches and then kind of like dance around with them for a little bit, or do whatever, just kind of like, ooh, I have fire, without actually doing anything with putting it in the mouth. I used to kind of look down on that because it was like, are you afraid of it? Are you waiting for your torches to burn down? Then I realized it's because if you just sit there like me and just put the fire in your mouth nonstop throughout an entire show, it's going to hurt. So that's something that you should not be afraid of, is to actually sit there and almost stall for a bit to take breaks, even if, you're supposed to be performing for this certain amount of time, to kind of give yourself a break without actually taking a break. So, if you're realizing that your mouth is kind of starting to heat up or it's starting to hurt or anything like that, then, stop for a bit and just kind of dance around with them, find what looks good, things like that, and really try and see what works, especially to go along with your style or whatever music that you have. So that's a good way to kind of prevent it. Another way to prevent it is to keep a water bottle with you full of cold water, especially ice water, things like that, because that will help cool your mouth, because a lot of fire's mouth is a cumulative burn over time. So it's kind of like there's heat, and then you're adding more heat to it, and it kind of keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and then you have the friction from the torch in your mouth, things like that. So it just kind of keeps building up and building up. So if you can cool that off, and then it'll take it longer for it to accumulate the heat in your mouth. And especially it's better for your teeth, because a lot of fire eating is bad for your teeth, especially doing torch holds in your teeth. That's why I don't teach it, and why I don't do it, is because you can get heat fractures in your teeth. Bad deal. But if you can kind of cool it off, it'll help negate those effects a lot and just kind of slow it down. If you already have fire eater's mouth, though, there are a few things that you can do. If you already have it, you're kind of too far gone, but you can make it more comfortable for yourself. Luckily, your mouth is pretty much the fastest healing part of your body, so it won't take as long as, say, a burn on your arm would take to heal, but it's still going to be a few days and it's not going to be comfortable. Number one, smoothies are your friend. Like, I can't even explain. They have saved me so many times, because when you have this going on, you don't want to eat, you don't want to chew anything that has any sort of texture to it. You don't want anything hot, you don't want anything spicy. It's just painful. So smoothies are really good. They don't hurt, they don't burn, they don't, anything. They just kind of keep your mouth cool, and it's something to consume so you don't, starve to death over these 3 or 4 days, depending on how bad your burns are. It could be a day, it could be a week, depends on how bad it was. Mine after night fright was, I think, a good solid 5 days. So, not good. Something else you can do is, especially if it's really red or starting to blister or anything like that, you can do a warm salt water rinse. You can get some warm water, not hot water because that's going to hurt, and get some salt in it, and then rinse your mouth out with that. So that'll help kind of keep it clean and keep it sanitary, things like that. And the biggest part is just to keep it clean, because that will help with the healing a lot, help keep it away from infection and all sorts of things. So make sure, above all else, to keep it clean. So that's basically most of it. If you have a burn that's really bad anywhere on your body, in your mouth, whatever, don't hesitate to go to the emergency room if you need to. Yes, they will look at you like you are insane because you got it putting a flaming torch in your mouth. Well, you are all insane, and so am I. But don't hesitate to go to the emergency room if you need to, because if you don't, well, you could die or be permanently maimed or whatever, and that's a bad thing. So definitely don't hesitate to go to the emergency room. So those are my tips on avoiding and helping with Fire Eater's mouth. I'll see you guys later.